So essentially, the entire Mexican government is controlled by the cartels.
Yes, I think right now it's really hard.
How much influence do they have on like the very top, like the president? Like how much influence is there?
I think a lot. I think a lot more than everybody thinks. Really, I'm not saying that it's as like they call the president and say like what to do, but they definitely have the means to pressure his agenda, right? By taking out armed people into certain strategic places, like let's say the Mexican government is trying to open a new oil refinery or processing center or whatever, or a new hospital in some city. So the bad guys will go and I don't know, kill a couple of doctors or shoot the whole fucking scene or kill a family around the area where they were supposed to set up a new school, stuff like that, to pressure the government to do their will, right? To hand them contracts for the construction of a street or a hospital or of a new, I don't know, department complex or whatever. They're making a lot of money out of money, legal contracts of construction specifically for roads that they need to transport drugs, right? So they're like, we need this road. And the Mexican government were like, well, there's no fucking money to do that road. I was like, all right, so let's pressure your fucking government one way or another. So you feel like you have to build that fucking road.
Right.
And that we're going to get that contract also.
So they own the construction company that's building the road, or they're somehow getting a percentage or extorting them somehow.
I guess a good percentage of the whole construction around Mexico is handed by cartel members, right?
Wow.
Under their
That's fucking bananas, bro.
It's crazy, man. That's I mean, it's up to the point where it's really hard to say that there is a government and that there is a cartel or cartels.
It's the same. Has like the amount of money and the volume of cocaine being trafficked, has that gone down since?
No, it's actually going up as well. The U.S. also has funding a lot of the drug war in Colombia against drug traffickers, and they just nabbed this narco called Otoniel, right?
Who are they funding?
The Colombia government.
They're funding the Colombian government to fight the
drug cartels.
Okay.
They just arrested this guy who was like El Chapo for Colombia, right? It was called Otoniel. But when you look again at the figures of coke being shipped from Colombia into the U.S., it's an all-time high. And it's like it's not working. Your strategy is obviously not working. Colombia has never produced more cocaine in the whole fucking history as of right now.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Really?
So they're getting all the big bosses, and their organizations keep shipping shit tons of money.
Maybe it's because of COVID. Maybe people are just sort of lonely. They want to do more fucking drugs. They want to do more coke and eat more pills.
COVID definitely skyrocketed the drug business, and that's for sure, yes.
And it's the same. Is it as violent? Have you ever been to Colombia?
Yeah.
Is it the same? What's the main differences between like the cartels in Colombia and the cartels in Mexico?
I think Colombia is. I think Mexico. It's Colombia 15 years back, right? I think we're moving into that direction, straightforward.
Meaning it's more.
Meaning Colombia got so mixed. The drug trafficking problem and politics so fucking intersected. Pablo Escobar, he used to be like a congressman. He wanted to be a president. So he mixed the whole fucking organization with politicians and politicians on his organization. So that changed the whole fucking thing. Also the guerrillas that used to be guerrillas and not traffickers, but now they're traffickers saying they're guerrillas, right? There's this group called Clan del Golfo, which is basically Cartel del Golfo. But they say they're called the Autodefensas Gaitanistas de Colombia, right? So they are a guerrilla or a self-defense group. But they're not. They're fucking traffickers. Right. The FARC, las Fuerzas Revolucionarias de Colombia, the main guerrilla group in Colombia, they used to be a guerrilla, right? Fighting against the government and trying to gain autonomous territories and all that shit. They are the ones cooking more cocaine than every other single organization in Colombia, dealing in Venezuela, Colombia, Panama. They're fucking everywhere. They're huge. and they used to be guerrillas, right? So Mexico, we don't have guerrillas, but we're about to. All of those groups from autodefensas.
What does guerrilla mean?
Guerrilla?
Guerrilla. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
sorry.
Sorry. You said it the proper way, didn't I?
Yeah.
Going right over my head.
Yeah, guerrillas. Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. So all of these guerrilla groups, I mean, they're not. They're traffickers. These guys, that's guerrillas, right? We're not. Mexico is still not at that point in time right now, but we're going to. I mean, these guys. I don't know if you've read this manual. There's a U.S. Army manual on insurgencies and counterinsurgencies movement, and there is established like a one by one point on how does an insurgency group builds up, right? And they start basically by unstabilizing governments, doing certain actions. And if you look at that guide and you look at what's happening in Mexico, it's like, dude, we're in the final fucking phase of these guys becoming an armed or mixed insurgency, which is like a drug trafficking / insurgency groups operating in Mexico. They're not only cartels right now. That's why I usually refuse to call them cartels or drug cartels, and it's more like organized insurgencies, right? Because it's totally different now. It's not the same. They're wearing military vests, military dress.
Yeah.
They have their armed groups, which is one of the requirements of the insurgency, right? You have leadership, and then you have a circle of an armed group that is going to protect you or attack, or and then outside you have what it's called social bases, which is basically the people supporting you on certain region you want to get control of. And they're getting a lot of social bases around Mexico. All of those gaps we were talking earlier, that's how they are getting social bases all through Mexico. So people today respects more a drug trafficker than a politician. If they say, who's giving you more? Whose side are you going to be of? And they're like, of course I'm going to be on the side of El Mayo instead of the fucking governor of my state.
Right.
Because they feel they're giving more. And that's how they're gaining social bases. And that's fucking crazy, because that means when the time comes, they can ask people to go out against their government and throw a fucking government out, and they will step in, right? So, and then you'll have a fucking mess.
That's fucking heavy, bro.
Yeah. Mexico, it's a lot, man. Mexico, Latin America, it's a fucking lot.